Hello, my name is Holly from My Daily Home Crafts. Thank you very much for joining me today. I hope that everything has been going well for you and that if you've had the icy weather, I hope you've survived quite warmly. First and foremost, I want to apologize for my last video because it was a very poor quality and there was issues with the audio, so I've taken it down. It won't let me reply to the people that put comments on there, so I very much apologize for the poor video, and I'm hoping that with this microphone that everything is going to be okay now. Gail, I'm ever so sorry you couldn't hear, and thank you very much both of you for commenting on it. Okay, I've just checked and it sounds like the audio is quite good, so hopefully we'll continue on. And if the audio isn't very well when I transfer it over to my laptop, then I'm going to scrap this and start all over again on another day because I won't have time to restart it again today. For the crafting that I've done since the last recorded, I've got two, well, first and foremost, I've got two finishes. One of them is a cross stitch that long-term viewers have seen. This is a Celtic bookmark. I haven't fully finished it yet, but I have finished it. Whoops, go that way. Maybe you'll be able to see the details of it. It's a gorgeous one. My husband bought it with the intention at Hobby Crafts, a craft shop here in the UK. Oh, by the way, I'm recording from Northumberland County, which is in northeast England, the very tip top, right at the Scottish border. I'm American and married my English husband, and I've been here ever since. So I've been in the country now for over 28 years, coming up to 28 and a half years. Anyway, my husband had intended to stitch this for me. His eyesight just has given up over the years. Let me show you what he's made. He stitched this while he was working as in London as a cab driver. He would, on his breaks, or in between jobs, he would stitch this, and he stitched my initials on it. Unfortunately, it had a bit of a tussle with a pair of scissors at some point or another, so I've tied them together. But otherwise, he did this such a good job as well. And I chose the scissors and put them on there. Well, he knows that green is mine, and so he wanted me to have some of my favorite colored scissors. And he made this for me, oh goodness, 20 odd years ago now. But his eyesight isn't to the point where he can stitch anymore. So he got through a little bit, made a mistake, and he never went back to it. And it sat in my with my craft stuff, and I just thought, well, it won't take long. So the first thing I did when I came back, so I should have reported on this last time, and I completely forgot. But it's a good thing because that video is taken down anyway, so I'll get to do it anyway. Anyway, he'd made a mistake, so I unpicked the one little bit of mistake, but a portion of the top, whichever one of the ends, he did. And then I finished it off. It took 2 days. When I went back to it, it was because about a third done when I went back to it right after Christmas. I went back to it on the January 5th, and I finished it on January 6th. These are my husband's socks that I finally finished. I'll put a picture of them up on a pair of sock walkers because they'll look a lot nicer. But I finished these on January 4th. So I finished a pair of socks when I recorded on January 3rd. I finished the socks that I sent down to Essex to the young lady. On January 4th, I finished these, and on January 5th and January 6th, I finished I keep forgetting to put it back into a bookmark. I have to look at the instructions, and I've misplaced the instructions amongst all my crafting paraphernalia. So once I find the instructions again, I will put it together. But anyway, going back to my full coverage, I've got 2 full coverages to report on this time. First of all is Santa Christmas Scene, Santa and Animals by Dakota Detweiler, artwork charted by Crafting Creations. It's being stitched on, I think it's being stitched on Hardanger. I think it's on 22 count, possibly, maybe 25. You have to, the details will be below. I'm now at 16.70%, and I'm really getting into a groove with this. There we go. I'm back up at the top. I'm doing this with as a stitch along with Lindsay Bridges on Instagram. She is an amazing lady. She's at 40%. I'm only at not even at 17%. So she's done very, very well on it. We're both desperate to get over into the tree. That's twice I've gotten up now, so I'll have to cut all of that out. Anyway, this is, oops, there we go. This is, I'm on the wrong side. I keep seeing the reverse. All right, so this is where we are stitching now. Now on this side, I was looking at it last night, and there's at least 2 columns, if not 3, that are just basically dark blue, just the blues. And I'm pretty darn cotton picking sure I'm gonna be cropping out at least two of the dark, because it's, if you look at it closely, it's just blue. And what I'm gonna do is, where you see once I get past the little cardinal and make sure I've got all the bits of the house in, I'm gonna crop it there. And really and truly, I could probably crop it on the bottom. There's a row and a half of, a row and a bit, I should say. I think it's like 3 or 4 stitches, partial row, that could technically be cut out as well. As much as I love this picture, it is a lot of blue. It's quite a lot of confetti. Not as much as Mini Secret Garden from Amy Stewart that I did years ago. It still has, that pattern still has the confetti award, if you would say, kind of like the Raspberry Awards. But I remember once I did a square, and I changed threads like 90 something times in a square, because there was I think there was only 2 threads I got, 2 or 3 threads I actually was able to make more than a couple of stitches in one square. So yeah, that was confetti heavy. I would never do I've never suggested anyone do that pattern. And if you do it, make sure to do it on very small fabric, 28 count or even 32 if you can hack it. Because when I did it on HAED, I think it was 16 or 14 count, no, maybe 18 count even, and it just didn't come out. Anyway, so that is Santa and Animals. I'm getting a lot faster at it. It's still a loose weave fabric, so it's, strangely enough, the next one is, I'm having a lot better time with the fabric. The next one is Mini Serenity Lane. I think the artwork is by Dona Gelsinger. I'll have to double check it. The information will be below, as charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. And this is on 28 count. I started it once on, I think, it's an 18 count, I think, 18 or 20, and it was just so, it didn't have the crispness of the, and I've just decided, instead of being unhappy with the result, I scrapped it and then went over to this fabric, which is 28 count. It's very crisp, but this is, oh, I was going to say, I haven't podcast very often, and so I've gone out of, all right. Santa and Animals is 1/1 full cross. I started out with this 1/1 full cross, and then it's just getting super thick, and I was bent a few needles trying to get the thread through. So last night, I don't know why I'm so crooked. Anyway, so last night I started playing with doing tent stitches or half stitches, making sure that the half stitch went in the same direction as the top stitch of the cross stitches, and I can't see the difference. I'm going to continue on with the tent stitch. I've never been very much of a fan. I always get confused, but for some reason with this fabric, I'm, knock on wood, I'm not getting too, I have to touch the wood somehow. I'm not getting too bad. I'm not having too much of a problem with it. And there's been a couple of times I've accidentally made the stitch the wrong way around, and I just turned it into a full stitch. So, which I think will help fading it in, is if I got some half stitches and some full stitches. Now when I get down to the darker bit, it may be that I either have to revert back to the full cross stitch or do two threads over one and see how that goes. But at the moment I'm happy with the result that I'm getting right there. Oops, I'm trying to see where it's coming along. Serenity Lane is at 11.19%. But that's, I was getting so bogged down in the blues and Santa and Animals that I was going to get wild for me. For me, yeah, it was getting wild about and do a new start, and I certainly don't need a new start. I don't need a new start on full coverage. I've got all I can handle right here, and until I get more on Santa and Animals, I have no plans to start another. I mean, this Serenity Lane, I thought Serenity Lane would be harder for me to stitch on because my eyesight is, I mean, it's a lot better since I had a cataract surgery and had the lens implants and things, but there for a while I was really struggling. But I've got my needle working glasses, which are stronger strength readers, so I'm able to do that a lot easier than I am Santa and Animals. Strangely enough, I'm enjoying it more, so we'll see how that goes. Now the rest of it is yarn inspired crafts, and I'm sorry about that. I was thinking about talking about cross stitch one more time. When I was digging around getting all the bits and pieces for Serenity Lane out of my craft corner, I came across a couple of Mill Hill kits that I bought 2 or 3 years ago. Maybe last year, but I think it was 2 or 3 years ago. Sorry. And I was so tempted. I've always wanted to do a Mill Hill. I was so tempted to get it out and make it, but I also found the tiny stockings, the cross stitch, the Bacilla tiny stockings cross stitch patterns as well, which my intention was to stitch all of them, and which I may still do. I've done quite a few, and I've given quite a few away now as well. So I'll see. I'm planning to get those out at least in January. Not January, in July, for Christmas in July. I'm planning to get those out. You know, if everything goes well, that's my intention, is to get those out and do some stitching on those in July. But now the rest of it is yarn. The first thing I'll talk about is my corner to corner blanket. This is what it looks like now. Oops. I've used up all of my DK 10-gram minis that I got for Christmas, for my Christmas yarn advent that I did myself. And then what I've been doing is, it just wasn't big enough for anything really. So what I've done is I've done a combination. So it's got the 10-gram minis, but it also, then I started using 4-ply fingering weight and doubling it up on itself. And I did a few of them like that. But then I've started using white Yarnsmith white merino, a 4-ply with some minis that I had, some 10-gram 4-ply or fingering weight minis. So, or leftovers from all the socks I've done. So that's what I've been doing. This is just, like I said, a combination of 4-ply doubled up on itself, 4-ply held double with white 4-ply, and then the double, and then the DK. I don't have any more DK wool yarn that I would put in here, because most of my DK socks have always been for men, and they prefer reds, blacks, blues, and things like that, and dark grays and stuff. So I don't have any. So for it to stay a similar kind of palette, more of a pastel-y kind of thing, I'm having to add the lighter yarns, which I think is coming along really nicely. I'm impressed with it. And it's so potato chippy. I mean, one day I did four squares in one day, just because it was just constantly going and going and going. But then I haven't touched it in probably a week now. The second one I'm talking about is it's Canal Boat, the Canal Boat blanket by Attic 24, Lucy. I started this. I got the yarn pack for Christmas for my husband. He loves canal boats, and I started making it after Christmas, I'm pretty sure. And this is what I've got it so far. It's quite a wide blanket, so I'm getting in my groove with this, and I just love the play of color in it. Yeah, a lot of these colors I would never pick on my own, but the combination of colors that Lucy does is just absolutely amazing. Another thing is that I always said that after Christmas I was going to do some selfish knitting, or a selfish makes things for myself. Of course, that blanket's for my husband. This blanket doesn't have a home at the moment, but I'm sure it will have eventually. Possibly some young lady will have it. Her birthday's in May, so it's possible we'll send that to her. But my husband, it's been quite chilly here, very chilly. The wind comes off the North Sea. We live like 1.5 miles, 2 miles away from the North Sea, so that wind is icy cold, icy cold. And my husband has always worn a single layer, the beanies where it just pulls down, but I let him, his beanies both were in the wash, or one of the beanies was in the wash, and the other one he'd left in his bus. So he's like, oh, I need something, it's cold outside. I said, okay, borrow mine. So I let him borrow mine, and mine has a folded up brim, and he's pretty much using it constantly now, because he says they're warmer than the single layers, which is obvious. But anyway, so what I did is I started him his own crochet beanie, and I'll continue on until I've got plenty of yarn. I'll continue on and make sure that he's got at least a double layer on his ears, so he'll keep his ears cozy, hopefully. I've been working on my husband's, just a few rows on my husband's football team. The white socks with the claret, the magenta or claret with the blue flecks. but it's only 2 or 3 rows, so I'm not going to show those today. But I've been working on these. These are 2 at a time toe up socks from the yarn is from the yarn artist Stepping Into Christmas, and I'm doing a size 5.5 ladies for myself. And I'm on this side, this bit of the yarn is bolder than this, but it's lovely yarn. It's very sparkly. It's just, since it's hand dyed, you expect it not to be uniform, or at least, I'm happy with it to be non-uniform like that. And people don't normally see that bit of your sock anyway, because it's all stuffed in your shoe. But that's what I've been doing. My husband's had some kind of bacterial flu, which has been 2 rounds of antibiotics to get rid of, and he's had laryngitis for the last week. He's just finally getting better, and that's just been life. Life's been keeping busy. The wind chill is way below 0 here. Not way below. It's not as cold as it would be. And it's cold for us. We're wimps when it comes to cold. I went out to change over my January wreath over to my spring, Valentine. I've got a heart shaped with fake flowers on my wreath, and I hang that up for Valentine's Day, and I pretty much keep it up for spring, except for Easter. I have Easter wreath. Not that you needed to know that, but when I went out to the shed, I about froze my tushy off just trying to go out into the shed. That when my hands were like ice when I come in, because I just thought, I'll go there for just a few minutes. It was longer than a few minutes, and I was freezing. Anyway, I hope that this is a lot better for you. I'm glad I've got a little bit more cross-stitch content for everyone. I've got so much yarn content for a person who was planning to do a lot more cross-stitching. I'm trying to, with Santa and Animals, because it's such a large chart, even if I cut off 2 or 3 rows at the end, I think 2 rows would be 6,000 or 7,000 stitches or something. So it'd be but it's still 180 something. I can't remember how many I think it's 185,000 stitches, or 187,000 stitches. So it's my biggest chart ever, which is teeny tiny compared to all the humongous charts that the big HAEDs, 900, 800,000, 900,000 stitches. Kudos to you. If you can do those, I think y'all are absolutely amazing, and you have the stamina for it that I just do not have. I just can't imagine spending. I just looked it up day before yesterday. Santa and Animals, I started it in March 24th, 2023. No, 2023. So coming up in March, this will be 3 years old. For me, my kind of thing is like, I'm getting all stressy about it. And even if I did 100 stitches a day, which doesn't always happen because life happens, right? If I did 100 stitches a day, it would take me 4.5 years to get it done. And what's been happening is I've been putting a lot more stitches in it, but now that I've taken Serenity Lane out and doing at least 50 stitches on it a day, that, of course, that's taking time away from Santa and Animals. But I'm a lot happier at the moment doing that, because I was really missing. I was I was getting blued out. I mean, it was just like lots of blues and whites and darks, like dark browns and dark blues and dark and black, and on that particular part of the pattern. So I'm happy that I'm getting different colors with Serenity Lane. It's a conundrum, isn't it? Do you want to work more? It's like I was watching the Sleepy Stitcher, and she's got so many lovely projects, and Alicia at Adventures of Stitching, and yeah, people have got so many wonderful fabrics, and they just kind of like Lisa at eCrafting in Colorado. Yeah, they've got so many different. There's so many people that can flitter like a little butterfly from one project to another, and it's enjoyable to watch. But I'm just thinking, how are they going to make? Yeah, I tend to worry about things that are kind of left to the corner. And believe me, I'm no saint. I have a cross stitch project on dark blue fabric that I started 15 years ago. Cross stitch fabric. It's Sharon Marie on Instagram. She did it a few years back, and it's a Victorian house on dark blue fabric and stuff, and it's lovely. It's a gorgeous fabric. It's a gorgeous pattern, but I could stitch on it during the day, because back in our old house, I had my desk beside the back door, which was double wide, and you had all this light coming in. So in the summertime, I could work on it, and I could see, because of the dark fabric, I could see it in the daylight. But when the winter came along, I just couldn't see it, even with my craft light. So now that project is sitting there, just moldering away, or at least, yeah, it's just sitting there haunting me. But it's just one of those. I'm more into, since I did that project in 2018, I think, and ever since I did that, I've been more keen on full coverage. And I have, at this moment in time, I've got these 2 I'm working on, and I've got 10 other charts that I want to try to complete. Whether if I finish it in my lifetime, that would be wonderful. But I don't see the point of starting all the projects and then not finishing all of them before my time is up on this earth, or my eyesight goes. So I'd rather focus on a few and get them done, so that, if loved ones want them, they've got something to remember me by. But if they've got a dozen different cross stitches of full coverage all floating around the house, partially done, no one's going to want them. Most of my relatives are, if not all of my relatives, they wouldn't even conceive at this point in time. They wouldn't even think about completing a project or something. So, morbid thoughts, I guess, but that's the way I think. And I've got, at this moment in time, I've got crafts beyond my life expectancy. I need to get busy. and get them all done. I hope you enjoy this video. It was wonderful having a chat with you. Thank you so much for visiting with me. I do appreciate you, and I will do my best to come and visit with you sometime soon. Have a wonderful, blessed day.